I am going on hiatus from dour videos like that last one, and from taking 6 bloody months to get one out, and overdone upload schedule jokes. No more. This is a new era, and I'm going somewhere where the land is rich and the choices are impactful, and the horror is grass-fed and free-range. I'm going to the town of Scarlet Hollow, North Carolina. Ah, Scarlet Hollow. It's a quaint little town nestled in the Appalachian Mountains. It's a little run down, but there's so much history here. Its main industry is a family-owned coal mine, which you should probably stay out of, but we're in old Appalachia. Take a hike and you might find... Okay, maybe don't take hikes at night. You could always check out the historic Scarlet Estate, but God damn it! This is Scarlet Hollow, and would you believe it, it's a horror-themed visual novel. I guess I have a type now. It's from the same developers as Slay the Princess, which should give you some idea of what to expect, and I must report that this dev team of 2 people has produced 2 bangers, of which 1 went viral. But I'll be damned if I don't talk someone's ear off about it. And yes, this is one of those games with a lot of twists and secrets, but I won't go into any real spoilers. Consider this a review, I guess. I hope that one guy is happy. You know what I love? Stories with fantastical settings, but very human characters. Rich lore, battles with evil, good stuff, I like it. But there's something really special about a story that's that, but also just about people, with the problems and relationships and endearing idiosyncrasies that real people have. It makes these otherworldly settings feel incredibly real, and it's one of the best aspects of Scarlet Hollow, where you might find such fine folks as Tabitha, coal baron girl boss and certified wet cat of a human being.
So you see, that's where the trouble began. That smile, that damn smile.
Stella, cryptid YouTuber, unironic believer in the power of friendship, and also my wife. Everyone back off, you can't have her, she's mine. Kaneeka, small-town goth and singular teen brain cell. Oscar, librarian and single dad, or should I say single daddy. Avery, waiter and friendly neighborhood non-binary finery. Sybil, Reese, tortured artist and stickman of your dreams. Doc Kelly, meanest doctor in the world, but...
Hey, baby. Hey, Babarilla. You know, we gotta keep meeting like this.
And of course, objectively the best character, Zane. He has a skateboarding shirt with his own name on it. On the skateboard. Sup, old people. All the glimpses of death I've had in the past 2 days have forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. I wanted to see if fate held any answers for me. Alas, I've not yet found the solace I seek. It's a lovely little cast. I could honestly talk your ear off about any of them, but half the fun in this game is getting to know them in your own way. You get weirdly settled in this little dying coal town, slowly learning the nuances of its spaces and residents. The art and music make the quiet moments very comfortable, and then that familiarity is slowly turned upside down over the course of... the plot? Right, the plot. Non-spoiler summary. You play as a character descended from, but not exactly friendly with, the Scarlets, a family whose coal mine founded this town. When your aunt dies, your cousin Tabitha invites you to town for the funeral, since you're basically the only other Scarlet left. You've got a week until it happens, Tabitha kind of hates you, and... look, do I even need to say it? It's a small town on the East Coast, surrounded by wilderness with a hidden family history. Stephen King shit happens. But how does it play? It's a visual novel, so you're basically reading and making dialogue choices. It's the kind where you make more line-to-line decisions rather than just critical junctures. I've heard it called The Walking Dead, but your choices actually matter, which is a hell of a pitch. Look, I love The Walking Dead, it's an all-time favorite, and so is Mass Effect, but I'm able to love them because I see them more as really good linear stories that attempt at a few paths that branch and reunite. In Scarlet Hollow, though, those choices really do matter. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean that you can take a wrong turn on day one and find a whole different plot. You still hit more or less the same set pieces on each playthrough, but they vary so wildly each time around in terms of emotional tone, what you learn, and what sort of relationships you form with other characters that my vow of staying spoiler-free is starting to weigh on me. Here, I'll try to explain. Under the hood, the game isn't just if-thenning based on your decisions at big plot points, and your relationships with characters aren't just good or bad. Every character secretly rates their perception of you on 5 different axes: trustworthy to unreliable, open-hearted to closed off, that kind of thing. So when you, say, call out Tabitha for being so prickly, her response depends on one or more of those bars. If you're nice to her all the time, she just thinks you're weak, but being agreeable while also pushing back on her when appropriate gets her respect. And that's just one way to get there. You can have a positive relationship with her in other ways as well. This system is kept pretty obscure, so you can't really intentionally game it, but you feel the difference, and it quickly makes you think of these characters as more fully formed and complex people in a way that I've never seen any other game accomplish. You can also define your character with the trait system. At the start of the game, you pick 2 traits from a pool of 7 as something exceptional that defines your character. These will come up as both passive observations and active dialogue options, kind of like Disco Elysium, though since they're basically always successful, they feel like a real strength of your character that you can always rely on. And through this simple toolset of traits and dialogue choices, you can do a lot to shape the character that you play. For example, here are my 3 playthroughs. First, Recluse Scarlet. I just default to using my screen name in most games, sorry. He has the Booksmart and mystical traits. I made a point of choosing every mystical dialogue option that I saw, which usually meant saying cryptic stuff about visions of doom, which generally achieved nothing besides creeping people out. I also played this character as a thinker, trying to make sense of the dark forces that affected him differently than anyone else in the town. This really peaked in episode 3, which I won't spoil, but I'll just say this incredibly specific concept of a magic-touched academic really gets its time to shine. But what was maybe even more satisfying was how over the course of the game, people started to realize that my character was more on the ball about what was going on than most. I've never felt so vindicated as when after 4 episodes of talking about the voices, Kaneeka sighing and saying, yeah, he's usually right about these feelings. Then there's my second character, Zarel Scarlet, repurposed D&D character name. Street smart and keen eye traits. She's sharp as attack and doesn't trust anyone, though she tries way harder than Recluse did at forming a good relationship with Tabitha. At first, I felt blind without my trusty mystical trait, but I quickly found I had a completely different toolset for how I interacted with the world. Zarel could just lie to people and they'd believe her, but on the flip side, no one had a chance of getting a lie past her, or hiding anything else, really. Obscure details in the environment became plain as day, and those troublesome locked doors get real. The tone of this playthrough was more of a family drama, slowly falling into the supernatural, with some powerful moments of character development that nearly had me getting teared up. God, episode 3 is so good. And then we have my third and final character, Stone Scarlet. Straight up, no excuses on this one. This run was done in hardcore mode. That's right, we're taking this visual novel and making it extreme! It just means I can pick a third trait, but I can't use them for big saves anymore. Powerful build, hot, and talk to animals. Powerful build obviously makes you stronger and tougher and lets you choose violence when most characters could not. Hot is an absolute meme of a trait, but it's a good meme. Flirt with everyone. Tell your cousin that you're bringing honeys to the guest room. Have unshakable confidence in the face of the Eldritch because you're too cute to die. Sure, why not? Seriously, if you enjoy playing low intelligence in Fallout, do not miss out on running powerful and hot together. And of course, talking to animals. It's as good as it is in Baldur's Gate 3. The tone of this playthrough was pretty grim, mostly because of hardcore mode, but my lovable protagonist that shrugged off cosmic horrors by just not getting it couldn't help but shine a light through the darkness. Your traits and choices open up so many paths and alternative options that you might be worried this game will give you what I call missed content anxiety. You know, when you feel compelled to do every little thing possible in a game, even past the point when you're genuinely interested just because you don't want to miss anything. It's also a problem when supposed rewards effectively remove stuff from the game. Like the classic from Mass Effect, where maxing out speech lets you convince Saren to go out like an hero. Narratively, it's pretty satisfying. But you've also just cheated yourself out of half of the final boss. Sure, this is ME1 combat we're talking about, but it's still gameplay. This seems like an irreconcilable problem, and initially it feels like Scarlet Hollow has its own version of it. For example, there's this part where you're trying to bother your cousin at work, you know, as you do, but there's a picket line, and getting them to let you cross almost entirely depends on decisions you've made several hours ago, including one case when I had used Street Smart to convince them that I wasn't a snitch. But my other 2 playthroughs didn't get to pass at all, because I didn't lay that groundwork that you don't even realize you were laying down. This kind of feels like the same problem, right? It's a visual novel, so reading dialogue and making choices is our gameplay. There are games where getting locked out of something due to prior actions would have aggravated me. Except, I think what we need here is a change in perspective. The script for the first episode of Scarlet Hollow has 100,000 words. The script for episode 4 is nearly twice that. This game is like 5 hours long at time of recording, yet it is unreasonably huge. Have you ever felt like there's so much media out there that you have to rush if you want to experience it all? There was this productivity guru that went viral on X the Everything app a couple years ago for watching Hunter x Hunter at 8 times speed. This dude has had a timeshare condo in my brain ever since because it's so emblematic of the absurd extremes that missed content anxiety can drive you to. Even when he completely destroys the experience of watching a show like that, there's still no way for him to see everything. To paraphrase one Trixie the Golden Witch, there are 2 possibilities that face us. Either immortality will be discovered in our lifetimes, meaning in a post-scarcity society, everyone will be making art constantly, so you will never experience all there is that's out there, or you will die one day, and a sizable portion of your plan-to-watch list will forever remain untouched. I swear ruminating on mortality in every video isn't like a thing I do on purpose. It just happens. At a certain point, you gotta make peace with the fact that you will not see all there is to see in the world. And to agonizingly drag this loot back to Scarlet Hollow, this is the only game where I feel comfortable skipping an optional section for the sake of roleplay, because it pales in comparison to the amount of content that didn't show up in my run to begin with. What matters is that I can truly express the kind of character that I wanted to create, and that the game rewards that with a world that I feel like I'm truly a part of. So why the hell are you sleeping on Scarlet Hollow? I usually hear the same answer. The game isn't finished. It started releasing episodically in 2021, taking a detour for Slay the Princess since paying the bills with visual novels is tough, and they wanted to try out some new things in their production pipeline. That ended up pretty thoroughly addressing both, and now they're back in the holler. 4 out of 7 episodes are out, with the 5th allegedly coming later this year, and the last 2 slated for eventually. I know that asking you to jump in on a story-based game releasing episodically is a bit of a tough sell. Put it this way, are you the kind of person that can start a half-finished series, utterly fall in love with the characters and setting, lose yourself in a lovely online community, and sustain yourself on a drip feed of official releases and fan content for years? Actually, sorry, shorter version, are you hyped for Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 in June? If so, you seriously owe it to yourself to dive into Scarlet Hollow. And if you're not that type, I get it, but it is my strongest recommendation to wishlist it and pick it up as soon as Episode 7 drops. You won't regret it, I promise. You know, I don't even need a long diatribe on the meaning of life to end this video on. I've been Recluse, and I am so sick of editing videos around visual novels. I swear to God I'll talk about something different next time. Thanks for watching.